The World Series of Boxing from just outside of Memphis, Tennessee. Josh Lewin, Sean O'Grady, and showing you what is technically a tie right now. 1-1. The light heavyweight bout will not go off. LA's fighter isn't here. So it's imperative now that Lamour represents against Gausha. We'll introduce those fighters for you now. Here is Chuck Roberts.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, our middleweight bout of the evening in this World Series of Boxing event from the Desoto Civic Center. Representing the Los Angeles Matadors, fighting out of the blue corner, Russell Lamour.
Russell Lamour is 3-0. He has taken 3 unanimous decisions, including one against Chris Jones of this Memphis team. And he ranks 5th overall in this World Series of Boxing. He is just 1 point away from being ranked number 2.
Well, he patterns his style after Sugar Ray Leonard. He switches up in the ring. He really loves the jab in boxing. Getting ready to celebrate his 29th birthday. So he's hoping for a birthday present tonight.
Ladies and gentlemen, fighting out of the red corner, representing your Memphis force, Terrell Gausha.
Now, Terrell Gausha is the only fighter in this entire American division who have fought 4 times already. He has won 2. He has lost 2. Most recently, a hard-fought victory over Esquiva Florentino a couple weeks back. But, champ, that's got to take its toll. 5th fight in 9 weeks.
But you know what? This is what he wants. He loves the competition. He went to the gym at the first time when he was 11 years old. He wants to go to the Olympics. He went about 114 wins and 13 in the amateur ranks. And he likes competition. He wants to show his skill, and a lot of skill he has. He says in the ring, I'm a boxer puncher, loves to work the body, and he is fun to watch.
Let's check him out head-to-head here, Sean.
Well, here's how they stack up. You can see that Lamour is 29 years old, 6'2", a little bit physically bigger than Gausha. Gausha, even though he weighs a little bit more. But good matchup. 2 middleweights who really are very good in the ring. Should be an interesting match to watch.
Gausha against Lamour. And keeping in mind that Memphis is bringing some firepower really throughout here. 3 Olympians and 2 USA Boxing national champs. And Gausha is certainly among the firepower that we discussed.
Mississippi Athletic Commission, Chairman John Lewis, and Commissioner in attendance, Ephraim Goodman. The referee for this bout, Jose Bonet. Judges, Larry Farabee.
Now, Jose Bonet from Argentina is your referee.
You know, I've always loved the middleweight division. It matches the power of the heavyweights with the speed of the really lighter weight fighters. These two and all these guys in this middleweight class, they have so much on the line, and they fight with such intensity.
Now that middleweight class, it's the 161-pound limit. And in the black trunks, that is Lamour. And the purple trunks, that is Gausha. Gausha began boxing at age 11. He says he was always getting into street fights. It was suggested to him that maybe in the ring is a better way to settle things than on the street. Jose Bonet will make sure that this is settled fairly here.
Well, he says, touch him up and let's get with it. Bonet, veteran referee. There's a look at Russell Lamour. The Haitian sensation is what they call him. He is a fighter that is well-spirited. He fights hard, trains hard, loves the sport of boxing. Gausha, nice job bobbing and weaving back and forth. There's Gausha with his back to you. And Russell Lamour facing you. Now on the right.
Now Gausha can bring that body shot.
He's tall, but he fights short. You know, he gets down low. Lamour does. The Haitian sensation. He tries to get underneath. He does a good job of throwing uppercuts. Good combination from Terrell. You know, combination punches are what we've seen in this tournament. They really do well with their boxers that use those combinations. Very rarely do people knock out that Tommy Hearns power. Very, very rarely do they knock him out with one punch. The way you knock him out many times is with a preponderance of punches. Good jab from Russell. Oh, look at his feints too. These are, all these fighters are accomplished, aren't they, Josh? They all know what they're doing.
They do. The grace and the poise, kind of guile over force is what we've seen so far. This is the middleweight bout. And Terrell Gausha can adjust very well in that ring, kind of chameleon-like. Whatever the other guy's doing, he'll react to that. Lamour, Russell kind of feeling him out of here.
Yeah, look at how Russell carries that left hand low, but he tries to flip up with it. I'd like to see him bring that up sometimes. There he's turning to the southpaw stances. Lamour, there with his back for you. You're facing Terrell Gausha. Whenever my opponents would turn to the southpaw stance, I would turn to the southpaw stance as well. Kind of mirror them sometimes, maybe just to confuse them.
Well, Lamour turning 29 years old, meaning he's in his physical prime, if not a shade beyond. A good shot to the left side right there. .40 left, round one, the middleweight bout, a World Series of Boxing from just outside of Memphis here in Southaven, Mississippi. Russell Lamour, you mentioned they call him the Haitian sensation, maybe the only human being in the state of Maine with that nickname. His parents moved from Haiti to the U.S. Northeast when he was 13. Good fighter.
The Maine Haitian sensation.
Call him the Mason. Gausha still dancing.
They're still feeling one another out. They're feinting and they're trying to see what works. Probing shots. Good cross.
Yeah, good right cross from Lamour. Couple of those, matter of fact. Late here in round one.
What a busy first round. They were feeling out one another in that first round. They were testing some probing shots, trying to big punch here and there. There's Anthony Bradley talking to Gausha.
Anthony Bradley's got a shot here to break a 5-match losing streak. Only one more win is needed here for Memphis, and they've got this thing tonight. Got the 3 points.
Good jabs from Lamour in that first, and trying to go downstairs to the body with Gausha. Great weapon to do. When you're facing someone that's taller than you, don't try to reach for that head. Go to the body first. It'll fold them over in the midsection.
Lamour does throw those fast combos and just kind of angles around his opponent. Nice blend of power and speed.
Manny Robles knows that.
Again, Lamour ranked 5th overall in his World Series of Boxing. So we go to round two, the middleweight bout. Terrell Gausha in the purple trunks. Russell Lamour representing LA, wearing the black trunks. A couple of chiseled fighters here.
Well, they spend their time in the gym. You know, fights are won and lost in the gym, not actually in the ring. These kids, they train 6 days a week, 2 training sessions, 1 in the morning. They run, they come back, do weights, and if they do weights at all, or they'll do some routines or go through some drills or have a skull session. Then they have their nightly workout where they spar, big headgears and big gloves. They're picking their shots now, too, these middleweights. Trying to land the big one.
Russell Lamour continues to just kind of feint his way through the ring here. Bobbing, weaving, then he's in.
Gausha with a combination, too, and then he gets out. Look at Gausha moving to his right. Unnatural move for him. That's a good work from him. It's unusual, too, for a right-hander to move to his right without crossing his feet. You don't want to cross your feet. Gausha's doing a good job of that. You cross your feet and you get hit, you know what's going to happen? Down you go. Look up at the lights.
Yeah, try not to look at lights, right? As a general
You're right.
rule.
Good
Good right hand there. Halfway through round 2, and now they're going at each other. Gausha and Lamour.
A little stumble. Oh, I think stepped on one another's toes.
And again, you had a couple of in-fighters that are short, compact, short reach. They have that possibility. Both guys use that low center of gravity if they can. Trying to get down. Shot to the left rib cage area from Lamour to Gausha. Just when it looked like they were going to hug right at the ropes. Now Bonet will back out, let him go at it again. Jose Bonet, that ref from Argentina. And again, we'll just try to pry them away from each other. Closer to the ropes in this bout than the first couple that we've seen.
Sure. And they closed the gap too. Busy pace. Second round, remember that first? A lot different then.
Missing with the right, but then connected.
Cross from him. A little inside fighting from both of them.
Almost too much inside. 10 seconds left, round 2.
Well, it's so important, the final seconds too, to give you the impression that you're winning. Leave your opponent with the impression of your fist on his face. Always wanted to try to get the last combination in before the bell rings. You know, that's what's most profound on the judge's mind, and your opponent's mind, and your opponent's face.
That last impression, boy, was a good one from Lamour. And Lamour definitely, as this series has gone along, this World Series of Boxing, he's finding out his strengths, his weaknesses, and how to grow. We talked to him about that before this bout.
I'm a much better fighter today than I was a couple fights ago. And everything more is now like more mental and everything, working with the coach and everything, you know, seeing step by step things that, you know, need to work on, or, you know, taking time and, you know, figuring stuff out in the ring.
You know, there really is a system to this madness, Josh. He is talking about what he learned from the coaches and how much of a better fighter. There's a process of this. A process of you've got to be able to work in the gym on technique, and then when you get in the fight, you have to utilize what you've learned in the gym. It's all the process.
And Lamour, the more advanced of the two. He's turning 29. The middleweight bout. Again, the purple trunks being worn by Terrell Gausha, Russell Lamour representing LA in the black trunks.
You know, and I know what Lamour is talking about, because I've seen both of these two young men early in this tournament. They were huffing and puffing after the first couple of rounds. Now look at this. They're setting up their attacks. They are much better fighters today. They all are. Good cross, good combination set up by that jab from Gausha. You know, Terrell comes on with his score, and then Lamour comes back with his. Back and forth battle.
Lamour again with those combos, and registering.
Nice job to the body too from Russell.
About a minute into round 3.
Look how close Jose Bonet is. The referee.
Watching him like a hawk, had to separate him a couple times in round 2. Gausha trying to register that left again, combo, and back a couple times.
Wow, look at this fight.
We keep seeing the spit fly right out of the mouth of Russell Lamour every time Gausha lands one near the jaw.
These are two middleweights that really want this.
Gausha is 2-2. Lamour is undefeated, 3-0.
6-14 as an amateur. He's been around the block in boxing. Fall of 2003. And he is good. Well accomplished. Good skills from him.
Waiting to land one here. It's been several seconds, and there you go. Under a minute, round 3. 3 shots in a row right to that left rib cage of Gausha. Again, the flurry to the midsection coming from Lamour.
Lamour getting no stretch on those punches. Close the gap a little bit too much. Went inside to smother his own punches.
Yeah, Lamour's got those longer arms, right? He can afford to step back.
Fight from the outside more. Let those hands go here. Don't throw short punches. Your opponent's right there. Look at that. Excellent. Look at that.
That's a great way to get late here in round 3. Got him right up against the ropes.
Wonderful and good timing.
Wow. Connecting.
Good timing. You got a flurry. Listen to this crowd too. How does that play on everyone's mind?
Well, Gausha didn't want this to end. Landing solidly at the end of round 3 and toppling down right at the end. Here is Lamour.
Outstanding round. Gausha was so good at the end of that 3rd round. Gausha did a pretty good job until right at the end of that 3rd round, and then he poured it on, and that may have gotten him the Duke on that round. Very good for him.
Well, we talked about Gausha and his greatest strength maybe just to adjust in the ring, and as Lamour kind of changed his angle, well, Gausha figured out what to do with it.
And not just that, he is remembering to breathe. These kids, Memphis is in last place, but these kids are learning every time out, and they have become better fighters. They have advanced as boxers. Look at these combinations. Toward the end of that 3rd round, it was Gausha who just let it all hang out. He let him go. He showed the judges he wanted that round. And look at the movement from Russell Lamour. Very good round.
We go to round 4, a frenetic round 3 here in this middleweight bout.
And you build upon that. I saw him breathing, Terrell, deep breaths between rounds, trying to get his energy back. That's how a fighter can go 15 rounds or 12 rounds if they go in championship fights today, because they remember to breathe. You've got to keep oxygen coming into those lungs because there's no filling stations inside the ring. Once you're out of air, once you're out of gas, there's no getting it back.
Oh, it's quite a 3-minute aerobic workout that Gausha had in round 3.
Here comes Lamour.
Lamour with a left that did connect and a right that did not.
Lamour trying to throw Lamour.
Oh, you're good. Left-right combo. Still down around the body, not up a lot around the head right now is Lamour, who continues to just kind of V-shape his way in there when he needs a breather. Lamour is 6'2". He's routinely been fighting guys 5'8" and 5'9". He draws a 5'10" Gausha here tonight. That's still a 4-inch height advantage for Lamour in those black trunks.
Boy, this is pressure cooker in there right now. Look at Lamour trying to wrap up his left hand. He may have a little bit of problem with that left hand. He's trying to wrap it up. Look, he keeps wrapping it with his right hand. Hands up around his face right now.
Trying to land that right instead of Zorn's one. High energy battle.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's very intense.
Whoa, watch the headbutt too. And you're right about our referee Jose Bonet trying to get right in there.
Oh, look at this attack. Terrell on top of Lamour.
Seen a lot more tying up in this particular bout than the first couple. There's a shot that connected to the jaw of Lamour. Lamour continues to just kind of duck in too, and he needs to take that breath. Almost goes to sleep on the shoulder of Gausha.
Good body punch from Russell, but it's Gausha that is on the attack.
Gausha keeps him back into that corner.
And look, the final 30 seconds. These fighters get that clock in their head, that 3-minute clock. There's a timer in your head. You've got to know when there's about 30 seconds in a round. Beautiful. What a shot. Right hand. It really works.
Another right that connected that time to the ribs.
It's hustle. It's hustle time.
Last chance to make an impression in round 4.
That is beautiful. When you have that 3-minute clock in your head where you realize that there's about 30 seconds to go and you start pouring on the pressure and you start pouring the combinations and you throw those real fast, flashy punches, you know, that's what wins you these rounds and wins you these fights. Look at this. There's good punches from Lamour. Lamour did a nice job body shots in that 4th round. And he tried to stay on the body, but it was Gausha who was retaliating to the head. And Terrell, toward the end of the round, threw those combinations that are flashy and that may have picked him up that 4th round.
I agree. Gausha, seems like everything that connected with some power was above the shoulders. And that does tend to leave an impression, doesn't it?
Of course it does. Especially this late in a fight. The body shots are also important. Late in the round, late in the fight though, late in the bout, you really want to, you know, hit your opponent as much as you can. Get as many shots in, many points.
Well, this 5th and final round, this is key to the whole match here. Because remember, if LA doesn't win this one, if Lamour doesn't beat Gausha, Memphis will have the insurmountable lead. That heavyweight bout will be fun to watch, but it won't mean anything for the 3 points here tonight. LA has got to have this one if they want to have a shot to get the 3 points and stay ahead of Mexico City.
When they're fighting an uphill battle too. I don't know. I think Gausha may have squeezed out a little bit of a lead in that last round.
Yeah, and Memphis twice, Sean, has lost 4-1 here to LA. They've got a shot to beat him here tonight. That's if Gausha has a quality 5th round. They got a real good shot.
That would sure be important for Memphis. There's a good cross from Gausha.
Again, above the shoulders, a lot of things connecting for the Cleveland native Terrell Gausha.
Lamour wants the distance. He wants the outside punching. He doesn't like when Gausha gets inside and throws those combinations. He doesn't like the tempo. He likes to control it from the outside. There's Lamour for Terrell, but he's still early this round. You know, he has that clock in his head. Let's wait till a little bit later, pour it on. And he does.
They finally do get away from the ropes.
More than halfway down in this round, so it's kind of time to start turning it up. You got the gas, Terrell. Oh, good
I'm
drop.
feeling it too. He took a shot to the right, but right before that, he had the combo working. Terrell Gausha against Russell Lamour. Lamour has not lost in the World Series of Boxing yet. He's 3-0. They're getting all he can handle from Terrell Gausha. If Memphis takes this bout, they get the 3 points. LA would only get 1.
And Gausha is 2-2 in this tournament. But Gausha has learned an awful lot. He looks like a different fighter than we first saw him as well. And so does Russell.
Yeah, if you get just a little bit better, right? 10% better with every fight. He's, what, 50% better now than he was?
Absolutely. All of these kids are. They all coalesce in this tournament. They all get better. It's just going to happen. Look at that. Terrell, all of a sudden, he got some confidence in him. He's after him. Look, there's Terrell. He wants it.
Oh, he's feeding off of this crowd, too, even when he's not connecting. Such high energy.
That is how a crowd can help you as a fighter. You hear that crowd, you hear them chanting your name, or you hear them telling you to come on.
Now, Gausha ducks away from what was the last gasp from Russell Lamour. Terrell Gausha has represented very, very well.
They love it and they appreciate it. Memphis.
As a team, Memphis has not won since November. If they give this to Gausha, that losing streak is over. I want to show you some of the action from that 5th round. Now, this was a bout that started a little slowly. The guys were feeling each other out in the 1st round, and that's not unusual. But boy, Gausha just seemed to have Lamour towards the ropes, if not on the ropes, a lot in rounds 3, 4, and 5. And Gausha, who's 5'10", Lamour is 6'2". and has the reach, but just could never really get it unloaded fully. We'll go and get our decision here. Chuck Roberts is standing by.
Ladies and gentlemen, tonight's middleweight contest is scored as follows. Judge Farabee, 49-46. Judge LeMay, 48-47. Judge Germain, 49-46. It is a unanimous decision from the Memphis Force. Terrell Gausha!
And Memphis has done it. With the forfeiture coming up in the light heavyweight division. Memphis taking the last two bouts, and a frenetic bout that we just saw. Gausha over Lamour. And it's a 3-point night for Memphis. We go to Sean O'Grady.
Terrell Gausha, congratulations. How about that victory for Memphis?
Thanks a lot, man. First of all, I just want to give thanks to God for making this all possible.
How much did this Memphis crowd help you in that fifth and final round?
Oh, man, they pushed me a lot. My teammates over there, Robert Brandt, Tony Mack, Renell Williams, all of them pushed me, man.
You could hear them. What did you do in this fight to win this match?
I just dug down deep. I just imposed my will against them. I wanted it more, so I just fought hard.
In that fourth and fifth round, though, you could have gotten tired. You could have gotten weak. You're a different fighter tonight than you've been in the past. Why did you suck it up in that fourth and fifth?
We've been training like that in the gym. My coaches train us hard. When we feel like we're tired, he pushes us to make us go more. So that's all. We just putting that hard work in.
Seemed as though you have that 3-minute clock in your head, because in the final 30 seconds, you really kind of poured it on, didn't you?
Yeah, I knew what it took. I just didn't want to leave it no doubt. I just wanted to get a good win, a unanimous decision.
So. And this is the first victory for Memphis, too. How does that make you feel?
Oh, man, made me feel good. I just love the crowd. Love to do this.
I know the crowd loves it. We love it. How about that? A victory for Memphis. You got it. Way to go tonight, Terrell Gausha. Josh?
Thank you, Sean. Terrell Gausha makes sure Memphis goes forward. This light heavyweight battle will not happen. Zello versus Passos. Passos couldn't make it here. Zello will be your winner. So this is going to be a 3-1 lead for Memphis. Insurmountable for LA. But there is still a fantastic bout with the heavyweight division coming. Thompson and Torres, it's still worth hanging around for that. Graceland will wait.